What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and I am once again joined with my friend Billy. You might know him as StabillytTCG over there on Twitter, so definitely go show him some love. But he just finished was it top 4 at the tournament, or was it second? Top 4?
Yeah, so we had I got top 4. I lost in top 4 to Teach. I actually had game, and you know, I haven't played GP against Teach or anything, so you know, stages have on play effects, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened to me.
Stage is pretty good.
So I ended up being like one cost off of, you know, Hound Blazing for game, but that's not here nor there. It was still a good run. This is my baby, my pride and joy. This is my favorite deck I've ever played. I love the play style, and honestly, to have him back is all I can ask for. Honestly, I've been begging. I've been begging.
No, absolutely. So let's go ahead and kind of jump in here. So just like a brief history for everybody of Sakazuki. So Sakazuki came out in December of 2023 with the first anniversary set, which was kind of like, it was a format where it was like you played 3 decks, you played Purple Luffy, you played Anel, you played Sakazuki. And Sakazuki was kind of like definitively the strongest, but it was like it lost to... Purple Luffy, and then like Anel beat him, right? Or is it Purple Luffy beat Anel and then Anel beat Sakazuki?
So Luffy would always beat Anel. It was like brutal for Anel, and Anel had like a decent matchup into Saka for sure. In my opinion, though, like towards the end of 05 format, once people started playing 10-drop Kaido Dragon, the draw 4-1, like they couldn't beat you. Like you resolve that card one time, and you know, all of a sudden, like their whole starving plan and stuff like that is just a window, and you win, you know. Once the 10-drop Kaido got added in, this was just the best deck. It was 15 out of, or I think it was 15 out of 16 slots at Worlds, or 14, something like that year, for a reason.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we'll see too, but it absolutely dominated. It was like almost 50% of every top 8 pie chart, like for 6 months straight. And then it also, so Jonas did win Bandai Card Fest in LA, the first one, but of course, our GOAT Clyde got second place, and then before that, it won a ton of events as well. He got banned in June 2024, so a lot of new players have never got to actually witness what a menace this deck is, and they still don't even know what the Gecko was like. Gecko into just bottom decking a 10 with Hound Blaze was just the most atrocious thing. And then of course it's where we get Robert Hinalucci. You know, RHL is like a long-standing joke, but exactly the oldest combo in the book. But so like here's just kind of like an idea of how strong this was, and this is EBO1 format just before he got banned, and you can see, like, I mean, just absolutely dominated events on
diabolical.
And I mean, this is like top 32, so you're looking at potentially like 16-14, just massive compared to any other leader, and we literally dealt with this for months, and it was, you know, it was very you know, some people loved it, like I respect it. I'm not a Sakazuki guy, but some people absolutely loved it. It was a huge skill expression deck, and then like just to take a look at Sakazuki of the past, so we did have like Gecko Moria, which is no longer gone. Brook wasn't even as prevalent. Like people were like, oh, you don't need 4 Brook, and now that card's like a 4 of in like every black deck. So like we were still so early. Like we just still were like figuring everything out with black. And of course, you know, you do have Gecko. We had Great Eruption too, and like Great Eruption at 2 sounds criminal. Like you know, just so many different things, and then like, you know, you have Marine Ford, which is really cool, like, but there's so many different ways to like reduce, and then you just chain geckos and you win games. But now it's a bit different. And we also didn't even get to some of the greatest cards, which I know you kind of played. So cards Saka never got, so he got banned right at EBO1, which was right after OP06. So there's a lot of cards like Jozu never got to see play. Kyros, I know you didn't play Kyros, but did you consider playing him because he has that crazy stat line despite having no counter?
Yeah, so Kyros is a good card for sure. You know, bouncing a 5 back to hand, a 6 with leader, a 7 with stage and leader is really good. My only issue with like these the higher cost cards now, so people are trying to build Saka like it used to be. It used to be early game. You kind of just remove everything and just keep tempo up, and then you just Moria's back to back, and your opponent just is gonna die without like a second thought. Now it's one of those things where the other decks are so powerful and so much faster than they were back then. Plufi and Enel were great decks, but they're not going to kill you before you hit 8 Dawn, 10 Dawn, you know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to play like more of a low to the ground version of Saka, where you can kind of, essentially you're just going to be winning death by 1,000 cuts, is kind of like how I like to describe this deck. You just tempo out, you make it so that they can't really break through early. And then towards the end of the game, you're able to actually use Dawn to swing, which is weird. I've kind of had to, it's a new learning curve for this deck now than it was before. Obviously, some things are still going to be the same. Having the ability to trash a card and draw a card every turn automatically makes a deck hard to play, and it's just the way it is. The decisions that seem very inconsequential can be the difference between losing and winning a game. So Saka is it's a little different now. I'll kind of explain like more of how I feel it's changed as once I show the lists and stuff. But there's not really any bombs in this deck anymore. I play 1/8 cost and then 3/6 cost, the 3 Josu, spoiler alert, and that's pretty much it. And everything else is I'm not even playing. I only played 1 copy of Rob Lucci, and it was probably the worst card on the deck, in all honesty. So.
Yeah, I mean, bottom deck's better.
Oh yeah, bottom deck is just way better, and a lot of times Lucci's too expensive. All these decks are very low to the ground, very fast. You need to be able to remove stuff fast. 5 Dawn, 7. It has to be off the field, and Rob Lucci by himself, although he's a great card, it's just not enough. It's too expensive. Like you want to be able to play like a Hina into a sword on 5, but there's something along those lines. Say you're playing against Rayleigh and they play the Luffy out. You don't have stage on board. Your Lucy sucks. Like it's just going to be in your hand, and like hopefully you have some way to out it. But then you're also bottom decking your trash. It makes your Tempest kicks not live at the end of the game, which is also scary. So I don't know. The deck is just very different. I love it though. It's any deck that has such a high skill ceiling where you have to make an extra decision that every other leader in the game doesn't have to make every turn. And I think it's the coolest thing.
I agree. That's like one of my favorite things about like Yu-Gi-Oh! Overall is it just rewards such high skill expression. And in a similar way too, because we're not having as much removal, like we've had our like black Lucci formats, and there's Sabo, which is a huge card in preventing like removal and protecting your board even more so than like Tashigi. And it's we've never got to play with this either, which is just fascinating. Just because like again, you could play this off a Gecko if Gecko was legal, so you could guarantee protect your Gecko, and just so many different things that we never got to explore. Same thing, and would love your thoughts here too, because I know you said you're going like low to the ground, and Liberation is of course base cost, so it isn't like subject to the regular removal. But did you consider playing like Liberation in this deck as well?
Absolutely, yeah, and I'll tell you actually why I ended up not. The reason why is I'll show in the list. I played 8. Obviously, I decided that honestly the best card in this deck is Josu. As crazy as it sounds, other than like Houndblaze and all this stuff, the bread and butter Saka stuff. But as far as the new additions to the deck, Josu's an all-star. And a lot of the games I was playing, my boards were looking something like this. I would just have, it would just be like brand new Tashigi, Hina, or whatever, something like that. A ton of cards in hand, like I can remove anything that they play, but going wide early with these little searchers and like going to on 3 going to Shigi into brand new, play brand new, or on 4 going brand new to Shigi, some stuff like that, and just making sure that you have all the pieces you need when you actually do have to start removing important threats towards the end of the game is just too important to. I can't overstate it, like how good these are. No, in conjunction with Joe's.
It makes sense, and we even kind of see it in like searchers are so important because right now in OP13, a lot of these new leaders, they just got Monkey D Garb. You're seeing them run 3 searchers, so they're playing 12 searchers, which sounds absurd. Yeah, but if you can find what you need, it's literally, you can't ask for anything more. Like, if you can find the card you want, it's just incredibly powerful. And then, of course, cards like Jack as well, right? Being able to draw 2, trash 2 also seems absolutely insane. Was wondering, like, was it just because, again, you committed to the low to the ground? Or, like, because this feels really good against Rayleigh, do you feel good into Rayleigh
100%.
already?
So Rayleigh actually feels pretty good. Ironically, I did lose to one yesterday. I mean, in this game, you can still lose to any deck, right? Like, except for maybe Bonnie. I don't know if I can lose to Bonnie with this, in all honesty.
I also
That's probably
see
the
that.
worst matchup. The worst matchup I've ever seen in my life for a deck.
-1, Hound Blaze, your guy, then play Hina and Amma Sword, whatever else.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, Kuzan swing minus your Smoker, Leader swing minus your Tashigi, Hound Blaze the Tashigi, Hina, Tempest Kick, Sword, the Mihawk and Smoker. They're like, what I just played 3 guys and they're all gone.
Yeah, I know, 100%.
But yeah, so the reason I decided not to play Jack actually is because in playing this deck, a lot of times it feels like you don't have the luxury to, like, just on 7 Dawn, just play a Jack, pop something and call it a day. Like, you're going to die. And you're a 4-life leader. There's no, like, you don't have a defensive effect on your leader. I mean, I guess you have more filtering. You'll be able to find 2K. Like, you're not gonna, if you brick, it's not the end of the world. You know, you'll be able to get out of it in some way. But, you know, if a deck just decides to start just winging at your face, and a lot of times you can be at 2 life by the time you would be able to play a Jack. And if your opponent's playing Rayleigh or so, and they're like, okay, 7 leader, Kid Killer 7 leader, like, all of a sudden you could just be at 1 or 0 and just die. And your Jack removes their body, but removal isn't a problem in this deck. It's like the easiest. You have 7 spells that are 2 cost. So, you know, with your Hinas, with your Tempest Kicks, with your Kuzans, your Udas, like, all these cards that minus cost, your leader effect stage, a lot of times I found that the problem was never being able to remove a body or not. It was always, can I remove this body and not die?
That makes sense.
And Jack just kind of felt like one of those cards that doesn't solve the problem that I think the deck, which is just kind of getting aggroed down a little bit. And if cards get their value the turn they're played against Saka, those cards tend to generally be good.
That's
killers, or like these rush cards that already rip a card out of your hand or make you take a life. Bottom decking those cards doesn't feel as good. So yeah, the rush stuff is a little scary. Jack's a brick too. It does help you filter a little bit, but it's just too expensive, man. Like a lot of times you just don't have the time.
Makes sense. And then, of course, there's like Who's Who, which, of course, like, you know, it's a removal card. It's a 2K, but I think there's just better 2Ks. But there's just so many. And so I just wanted to kind of highlight these things that we just never got to explore. Right. But yeah, let's go ahead and we can jump into your list real quick for everybody.
Absolutely.
Here's it if you just want to grab the whole thing. But we're going to go ahead and go through this and let Billy break it down card by card. So let's go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to do it. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, so we'll start off with the list. I played 4 Tashigi. Most Saka lists, this is the first time I played 4 of this card before, and all the other formats, it was redundant. This format, you know, you don't have Great Eruption and stuff, like, and I'm playing Jozu, so I just always want to have something on board to Jozu back. And Saka's problem, you know, with these bottom deck spells and stuff, they don't give you a card back. So you run out of gas, able to bounce these back and make sure you find more of those without having a handful of bricks. Great. Kind of the same thing with brand new. Obviously feels like trash. Top 3 searcher. Also, this card goes in, bro.
I mean, dude, back in the day, you just Hound Blaze him up to 6 and he smacks you. Then you think about not removing it because you don't want to waste a swing because you need the aggro. Then they do it again and you're like, fuck! Like.
The other thing is, I had a ton of people ask me, like, Zoro is, you know, not a great matchup, but people think it's like doomsday for Saka. I think if you play Saka kind of how, you know, with Jackson, like a lot of these 4 drops, Lucci, stuff like that, I think the matchup's horrendous. Like if you play it like that, I kind of found more success in just playing a conga line of searchers, swinging with them, getting the value. Like if they want to just hard cast the Tashigi to rest my Tashigi and go 8 at it, like, by all means. I ended up like winning a lot of those games just because of the pressure that these exert. and it kind of makes them play a little more defensive instead of being able to just all in you every turn. You know, rest all in, because they'll be lower in life, and that's pretty crucial against that deck. Because if they're at 3 life and you're at 1, and like if you have no pressure, no way to kill them in the next turn or two, they can just kind of play a little ignorantly and just beat you, you know. So I will acknowledge Zoro is definitely not the best matchup, but I think if you want to like a good shot into it, just kind of more low to the ground, play Searchers, Houndblazer, Kuina, go like, you know, 7, 6, that, put them down to 2 or 3, and then you can kind of try and cheese them back, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely, yeah.
I played 4 Hina. 4 might seem a bit much, especially if you played Saka in the past or if you played Lucci, but this card's so important right now. Just giving a -4 for 3 Dawn.
Ice Age is gone. I mean, you just have to. It's the best minus card out there now.
Yep. Especially with cards like Houndblaze and Sword. Like on 5 Dawn, being able to go Hina, Sword, a 4-drop, or Hina, Houndblaze, a 4-drop, you know, swing with a 5/5 with Tashigi and Leader. Like those moments happen a lot, and you need the cards at that. Like, you can't really miss a turn of removal. Hina's cheap enough to where a lot of times it's just easy to combo with. And then I played 3 Kuzan. Obviously still love this card. It feels bad against Zoro for sure. Like it's, you know, they go turn 1, Perona, add Tashigi, and you're like, on 4 Dawn, you're like, am I like, is playing this card worth it, or do I just cycle it because it's kind of the same thing, you know? Because it's gonna draw one either way. Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're just gonna die. It's just the same thing as them swinging 8 at my face and playing a 5/7 vanilla. So a lot of times I would kind of this card was not necessarily for that deck as much as it was, you know, the other ones, the purple decks. I had a feeling that people were gonna have a harder time removing this early. You know, I thought there would be a lot of Bonnie. There was a lot of Bonnie. Card is like their worst nightmare. Still a super solid. I played 2 Uda. This is actually a card that I would consider bumping up. This card is really, really good against Zoro.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah, because it's just your leader swing does nothing, and then of course like same thing like Rayleigh, like their leader swing, and then they're like they can swing it with their others, but you essentially like get a turn of it like guaranteed that you're gonna get to use it. And they really can't do anything.
It's always a blocker. Yeah, it always ends up taking at least a swing from something like. And against Zoro, I promise you, like you play this card out, they're never removing it unless they, you know, use the like if they play the Rashomon or whatever and KO it or something like that, because you're removing every body they play every turn. Almost guaranteed. The only way you're losing that matchup is just because you die.
Yeah,
you know, they just try and all in you.
Triple 9s is pretty good.
Oh yeah. This Uda goes in too, dude. This thing's a 2/3 as well. Like Houndblazing, this makes it a 6. You know, like there's a lot of times where these little weenies just end up getting there.
When Lucci started playing that, I instantly hated it. Like that card, I felt like was so under the radar for so long too, in terms of playability, because it's like. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we did have but yeah, I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, it's insane, and the how good it is against Zoro is like, honestly the main reason I'm playing it. It just gives you a fighting chance, and it's just a pain. This card's such a pain in the ass to deal with. Like, you know, if you leave it on the board and you play a 7-drop, your 7-drop's never sticking. You're just like playing it, just played it, you know. Yeah, for Brook, obviously this card was so underrated for so long. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was looking at my my top 4 Saka list from like last May or whatever. I don't even think I played this. I mean,
dude, like it was so under, and everybody was like, like I think Ryan Hartman was the one who's like, dude, Brook is so good, and I was like, you know, I was like, I see it, like, but it's like. I mean, there's so many good cards, and we had Ice Age, so it's like now with again in an environment without that, these cards are so strong.
Absolutely, yeah. This is another card that's pretty strong against like just the field as a whole. Getting rid of these little weenie searchers is strong early, especially because I'll just show the next card I'm playing. I played 3 Jozu. So kind of my mentality, like with Brooks and Jozu's, is I want to play out my Tashigis, my brand news early. And I want them to swing. I want to remove with Houndblaze, you know, pump them up, swing. And then I want to be able to, you know, if there's a Perona on the field, if you're playing against Zoro, or if there's literally any searcher, right? Them being able to actually clear your 1-drops and stuff is actually kind of bad because it makes your Jozu a little worse, like stuff like that. So I like this card a lot. Obviously, it's a broken effect. Obviously, you're going to remove big stuff with it. But just early game, just putting it out, as they have to deal with it. And then keeping their board clear for Jozu turns, bouncing your own searcher, like on 7 Dawn, going like Jozu bounce Tashigi, play Tashigi, add any top 5 card is super strong. So yeah, Jozu probably the best addition to the deck, and obviously your leader minus is 1 something. So at the minimum, Jozu's bounce. Obviously, it's a really good number. You know, GP obviously 7's the sweet spot. If you somehow play against Peanut Butter Luffy or whatever, 7 is 7.
Yeah, you need that 7. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
And obviously, Tempest Kick Jozu clears anything in the game. Card's just really good. I like cards like this a little more than having to have a ton of combo pieces to remove big stuff, kind of like Lucci plays, where it has, you know, I'm going to Tempest Kick and I'm going to tap my Laboon and, you know, like all this other stuff. So I didn't really want to get stuck in that trap, and Jozu just helps. It's just a tempo card that replenishes hand size, puts a bigger body on board. It's just so, dude, this card, I like this card won me so many games.
Jozu leader stage also just bounces back the Mihawk, which is pretty great.
Yeah. Crucial. And like Uda Jozu bounces it back too, and they're not, the Uda's promise it's on the field. I promise they cannot get rid of it. It's like a disaster for them. Obviously 4 of my favorite card ever, Rebecca.
Card's crazy.
It's not as good as it used to be. It's really not as good as it used to be, but it is still really good. You definitely still need it. We're playing a very toolboxy deck. Rebecca Hina into anything is always going to be good. It's been good since it came out. It will continue to be good. You know, Rebecca Hina Sword, Rebecca Hina Houndblaze, Brook, etc. Yeah, card's just too good. It seems like it would be bad against Zoro, but honestly, just kind of like leaving them on board, you know, playing them out early instead of trying to hold them for late game, and just kind of leaving them on board can make it so that, you know, their lethal turns are a little harder, or like if you have a Brook or something and you don't want it to die, like going Rebecca Brook is pretty good. Forcing them to rest Tashigi or something, and it ends up just staying on the field. It's always going to get some kind of value out of its initial +1. Then I played 4 Suru, best 2K, love this card. With Jozu, it's nuts. Jozu plus stage leader, bounce 10, like all these effects.
And
really
you get it back too, so like, like the free 2K.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a free 2K, and like being able to just Suru Houndblaze go for game, and or just Suru something early, like, you know, like, okay, it's fine, I have a Jozu in my hand, I'm gonna get it back. You know,
I did that with Kaya in Whitebeard Ace. I'm like, I'm just gonna play out my Kaya, filter 2, and then I'm just gonna fetch it back on my 6, like, you know.
Yep. 4 T-Bone card is kind of ass, but it's 2K, it's searchable. For those of you wondering why I don't play the 3-drop Tashigi, is because Tashigi cannot grab Tashigi.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's right. Would be way better to play. Yeah, the card would be way better to play. You know, activate main 3/4, tap it minus something by 2. Really
what about Who's Who? Like, because like Who's Who has the trigger, and I think it's still Navy.
I don't think it is. I think it's Animal Kingdom.
Is it just Animal? Oh, is it CP? I think it's CP.
Yeah, it's a CP card.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So T-Bone is similar to that card. I never played this card once. It was always just like, okay, cool, 2K, I can add back off Rebecca. Love it.
But it's there in case you need them.
And then I guess the things I've been getting a lot of questions about. I played 1 Lucci. Probably gonna cut this card. It's just gonna be completely honest. The card is not as good as it is in its titular deck. It's so weird to say this. This was by far the best removal card back in OP5 with this deck. Like Rebecca Hina Lucci, everybody knows.
Rebecca Hina Lucci.
And if you don't know, then just go watch Worlds from that year. You'll hear the commentators say it literally every 30 seconds.
Dude, I mean, it's literally that's all you do. There's the whole mirror is Rebecca. Who can Rebecca Hina Lucci longer?
Yeah, exactly. Whoever plays Rebecca first loses because exactly.
Whoever runs out of Rebecca, yeah.
I remember I played against just to give a little more backstory of how dominant this deck was. At Nationals, the first Nationals for this deck, If you had a regional top, you got a 2-round bye. So I had the 2-round bye, and then I only played mirror match the entire tournament. And I played one red Zoro. Like round 7, the guy was like, I've played 6 Sakas so far. You're my 7th, and he's 6-0. I'm like, this sounds not good. And then outside of that, it was Saka everything. And I remember in the last round, I played against Impact, Josh, love you, buddy. Yeah, so when I played against him, and I remember my first brand new was Mill Mancheria, Mill Rebecca, and I was about to just concede, and of course I ended up losing because that's what happens when in the Saka mirror when you just mill 3 of your best cards, whatever. But I don't think Lucci's too necessary anymore. It's still okay. It's a 4/6 body, but like I said earlier, a 4 cost, like there's no great eruption. You're not going to be able to play a 1 cost spell plus a Lucci on 5, clear something, unless you have stage. It ends up just not being enough. I think I literally pitched the card every time. I just wanted it as a 1-of in case I had a situation where I had like late game where I had a Rebecca and a Hina in hand, and if I had a way to get a removal card out of trash, I could do it, but it never came up. I'm not sure it ever will. The verdict's still out on Lucci. I'm not sure if we play 1, if we play 2, or 0. I'm leaning towards 0, but it seems crazy to cut it.
Right. I think the biggest thing too is, and you might remember, there was a really weird time where like people kind of caught on because like it was crazy. At like one point, people weren't playing like Ama, people weren't playing like Houndblaze, and then came the build where everybody's playing both of those, and then it was like less. So we didn't want a Lucci, we wanted to just Ama you. We wanted the Gecko double minus Ama you every single time, which was like arguably better. So. And like
the stupidest play like ever in One Piece, by the way.
Yeah,
auto-making a 6 and a 5 while playing 18 Dawn worth of characters and a blocker.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts, right? And then or you can just you can Houndblaze a 10 and hit you for 8. So like it was the ultimate aggressive play, or it was the ultimate like control play. So if you try to go wide, you get punished. Like the only real answer at that point was your Gecko, because then at least one body's gonna stay. And so anyway, so it does. I understand fully like if Lucci's not even part of the conversation just because there are so many new good events and just cards to play.
Not only that, there's just like other cards that I think are better now. I never was like feeling like, dude, I don't have enough removal here. 4 Tashigi, 4 brand new. Played 3 sword, 4 Houndblaze. Like I was good, dude. I had plenty of removal. Realistically, like if you resolve like 3 of these cards in a game, 3 to 4, that's probably the end. Like 3 even is a lot. So I just really wanted 4 of the Houndblaze for the consistency. And like I said, I'm playing 8 searchers. I want to get in there. I want to deal my damage early. And then sword is definitely the broken card. It's like the Rayleigh deleter. Really good against Zoro, like with these Mihawks against Bonnie and stuff. It's just the card is really brutal to get hit by, especially it's like a 2-cost spell that's like removing your entire board. Kind of doesn't feel great if you're on the receiving end of it, but these cards are nuts. This is my favorite card ever, so I'm just happy to be able to play it again, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, literally, you can remove a 9 and an 8 if you were to go double Hina and play Suru, then hit him with a sword. Like, you can literally remove anything. Like, it's just the most gross thing ever. But yeah.
Yeah, I think on stream, like, we had a stream match. By the way, shout out to Southside Gaming for the awesome today. We had 81 people, which is pretty good.
Huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet tournament. So, but I played against a Bonnie guy on stream yesterday, and I was like sorting everything every turn. It was just rough. Like he would go like Mihawk, Tashigi, and like Mihawk, Cavendish, Tashigi, and I'm like Houndblazing the Tashigi and then sorting the other 2 in the same turn. It's just gross.
Disrespect.
You can do it. Yeah, it's diabolical.
Yeah.
And then obviously cut that Lucci card, and then I'll show you guys. I played 1 Secret Luffy, 1 Snake Man. Honestly, I will consider bringing this card up to 2. As I said, I kind of like more of a low to the ground, like a little more aggressive version, because it makes them play the game at your pace as opposed to you having to be the control deck. Like I want to kind of be the blue black aggro deck that So this card's super strong. Obviously, this plus leader effect bounces 5. You can also bounce your own stuff late game, like your Suru. You can go like play Suru, like a turn prior or whatever, and it's like, okay, cool, I can bounce with the Luffy. So there's a lot of bouncing in this deck, especially like self bouncing, which is honestly when I was thinking about and thinking about like how it changed leading up to now. My main thing was like, dude, you're gonna run out of resources, you know, because that was the problem after like if Moria was banned, you would run out of cards. You know, a lot of times Saka players would have 3 to 4 cards in their hand by the time they played the Moria. But
and they just
card
Rebecca.
is just like a plus, card's like a plus 5,000 or whatever. Like, so you end up being okay. But yeah, this card was crucial. This and Jozu, like honestly, the 2 best additions. Tempoing them, swinging big, like card's a problem. It has to be dealt with. 8 costs are annoying for like almost any deck to deal with. Just having a rush guard in this deck, a lot of people were caught off guard.
Oh,
I would consider playing too.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because one thing that I wanted to mention here is the number of Saka games that I'd played like against Saka where if they just played a rush Usopp, I lost.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
but like nobody plays it, so I was so safe. But like the fact is, the Luffy, he also attaches a Dawn, right? Like you get to attach one Dawn, so you could go Hound Blaze and do 9/9 lethal with him bouncing a blocker, like completely underrated.
Kind of silly, right?
Yeah.
Kind of silly. You could actually, if you had, you could bounce 2. Like you can say you're playing against a Bonnie deck or something. They got like the Bonnie blocker or Smoker. You're playing against Smoker. They have the Bonnie blocker and the thing that protects Flash guys. You can play this out. Hound Blaze the little guy, pump your leader, and then like, you know, either leader swing or this swing bounce another blocker. It makes your lethal turns like. They'll think they're safe because they have blocker or 2 blockers, and it's like, you know, they're not going to be able to swing. I'm at 1 life, like I'm fine. You know? But this card just says otherwise. So yeah, definitely considering pumping this up to 2. But I would suggest anyone trying this deck, just try this card. Like it's gonna come up and you're gonna really good.
I understand completely.
Outside of that, I played 3 Tempest and 2 HQ. You can play 4 Tempest. Like I'm thinking about it, like just cutting this Lucci card and playing a 4 kick, just for more consistency in the late game. With like. Because not every game is going to go well. Early game, you're not going to always have all the answers. So if you get behind at all in the end, this card is like saving grace. Oh, thank God I can minus something by 3 for 1, you know? Yeah, I would consider playing 4 of this. HQ, I think, is perfect too. It's searchable. You're going to see it, I promise. You play searchers, you're fine. You have a cycle effect, you'll get there. But outside of that, yeah, this list was a lot of fun. Like, the only changes I'd consider making would be like cutting this card, maybe adding another 2K in. I'm not really sure how you would fit it. Honestly, this is like going to be controversial, but this card you can consider cutting it. I haven't tried cutting it yet, in all honesty, but I can see that I'm pretty sure the deck will still work almost exactly the same if you cut Kuzan for another Uda, another Tempest Kick, and you know, like a Mancherry or something. I think it'll be just.
I can see that, especially like if you're anticipating more green Zoro, like there's all the more reason to cut it.
Yeah, this card is horrible against that deck. It's at least you get the cycle though, so it's not bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's what's so great about him, right? Is just the fact that any card that's no value, you just instantly get value out of it because it just replaces itself. Okay, so I've taken up a lot of your time here. I super appreciate it. Real quick, what do you think is, like, with this in mind in the OP12 environment, what do you think is Sakazuki's best matchup right now?
Oh, the best matchup's definitely Bonnie. Like, you just absolutely obliterate that deck. They can't do anything. Like, it's rough.
Understand. Like, Lucci was bad, and Saka's better. Like,
Saka's way worse for that deck because, you know, they had their Tashigi and stuff. Here's another reason Lucci kind of sucked, right?
Yeah.
All these decks have like a little protector card now. Like, there's in green has 2 of them. The new blocker that protects from
that
KO,
guy threw me off. That guy caught me off guard. Yep.
And the Tashigi, and the problem with this card is this costs 4. So like, what else are you doing in that turn? Like, a lot of times with Lucci, because I played a lot of Lucci, and they would have the Tashigi on board, and it's like, dude, do I really just have to like swing and just pop the Tashigi this turn, clear it, so I remove something next turn? And this deck, you don't have that problem because you just go leader swing, minus it, make it a 2, Hound Blaze, a brand or whatever, and you have it on to actually remove the board after that. So Lucci would just kind of felt like shit, in all honesty.
No, that's fair. That's
pretty much
fair.
it. Worst matchup is definitely it's definitely Zoro, but I think it's far from unwinnable. I have to test it more, but Sokka's one of these decks that adapt because of how powerful the blue and black card pool are individually and in cohesion. So I think that you could definitely build Sokka in a way that you could even maybe have a potentially favored Zoro matchup, which is probably another one. Obviously, I played a best of 3 against one yesterday. I ended up losing myself, misplaying whatever, but it showed me that the matchup is far better than the Lucci, just because of the literally cards, the spells, and the Rush Luffy's also insane.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Burgess isn't a card again.
Yeah. Teach deserves that so much. Also, like with obviously, you know, the Ama Nomi sword. Do you think like Rayleigh is overall pretty favored? How do you feel into that matchup?
So funnily enough, I think that Rayleigh's like best chance of winning is not to do Rayleigh stuff, like playing the Boa and a Luffy and like a Buggy or whatever. Like those cards get removed for free every time. I would suggest if you're a Rayleigh player playing into this deck, just mulligan for your rush cards and just turn them sideways. That makes sense.
The classic red strat. Yeah.
Yeah, like just play aggro red, like play it like Zoro basically.
That's how I beat blues on.
Yeah, exactly. But like playing out a Buggy and like a Luffy or whatever, it just like,
setting you up, just begging for it. You pay one for stage. You get, is it stage 1 or is it 2? Is it 2?
Stage is 1.
Stage is 1, yeah. So you pay 1, you get the minus on play, then you just rest it, and then you just sword me, and I'm like, yeah, that feels great.
Or you just have like you're like Uda sword, Uda leader swing sword, like a Boa and a Luffy is just strong. Like if you do play the Boa, honestly, a lot of times I think it's good in Rayleigh to just play the Boa and just sack it immediately and just swing big.
Yeah.
Like don't even try and keep it on the field. It's not gonna happen. You know.
No, for sure.
And there's not like a bunch of other good plays that this do if they have the board. Like that's kind of to be at, right? Yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Cool. So then like early setup, right? We kind of already talked about it. You're like, you know, you want to play your searchers. What are we like? What is early game like looking like? What like and the deck is incredibly adaptive, right? Like it all depends on what your opponent has. But like before like they've gotten set up, what are we generally like looking for here? Yeah, so obviously I pretty harshly mulligan for searchers. This deck is so consistent, you're not going to really have brick hands, especially with 8 searchers. And if you're going second, you see 7 cards. If you're going first, so you see an extra card that every other deck isn't going to see, except Emu when that comes out. Yeah.
That the fact they gave him Saka's effect was crazy. But you could also go on boards, like your searchers +1 is nuts.
Bananas. But so early game, I like playing these out. And it really just depends on what your opponent's doing, man. If they're like shoving 8 like at you on 3, sometimes I like, you know, cycle Brook, draw 1, play Rebecca, grab Brook, play it. You know, like just you can kind of use your Rebecca's a little more aggressively in this deck as opposed to Lucci, where you know you really had to hold on to him for removal, because of how cheap the spells are. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can just hard cast it and stuff.
When you do that, are you using Rebecca to save the Brook if they swing into it, or are you just like hoping for Brook to like eat an attack there?
I generally save it, especially if I'm on 4 Dawn, because I removed whatever they played on the turn 4, right? So if I go Rebecca Brook, I'll block a lot to save the Brook just because of how annoying it is to deal with. But if they like, you know, if they want to lose their mind, like, you know, I don't even know, just try and pop it or like rest the Rebecca or something to get over the Brook. I just give it to him because it's not that important, if that makes sense. The real important stuff is it's all in your hand, which I love.
It's the spells, right? Yeah. Like the events.
Right. That's the difference between this deck and Lucci. Like the main difference is that the spells, Lucci's power was all on its board. Sokka's power is in hand. Your board is going to look kind of like whatever compared to the big Lucci boards with Jack and all this other stuff, but in reality, like, your hand is just so powerful. You know, you can remove anything, and at the end of the day, if I have swings at your face with my leader, like, even if I have no other things, if you have nothing either, and I have, you know, weenie searchers, you're gonna die before me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Outside of that, I'd say early curve. You definitely just want to look for these, and then or combination of obviously Uda is good as well to have early game, wherever it happens to be. Yeah, these cards are super strong to get early game. Brook is too, and then outside of that, a lot of times you'll have to like either Uda Houndblaze something early, you know, like a 4-drop, or like a lot of Brook was more useful to me as a -1 than the actual KO effect over the weekend, because, you know, just getting it down to Houndblaze range is really good. Yeah, playing Hina's is good. Obviously, you know, if you're not playing against Zoro, like, you will play the Kuzan out sometimes. But yeah, basically just look for these cards. Make sure you have at least one bottom deck spell. You don't have to go too crazy looking for them early, because you'll find them through all your searchers, and you don't want to have just a handful of them and die. So there's kind of a fine line between like making sure you have enough removal to answer what they're doing, and making sure you're not just bricked up on removal. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much the early game. Mid game / late game, it ends up being like Jozu a lot. You know, just preserving kind of like what you have. You know, like, your boards look really small, but, you know, going like Hina and Houndblaze or something, like even like having these 4 cards or something on board, Rebecca, Kuzan, Uda, Hina, like, that's still a really good board, especially if you're clearing their board every turn.
Yeah, as long as their board's smaller, it doesn't matter how big yours is, right?
Correct.
Like, that's the big thing. And so, for anyone, last question here, and then I'll let you go on your way. But for like, what is the removal math looking like, right? Like, on your curves, how are we doing, like, just like the basic math for like guaranteed removal of whatever they do to keep them having nothing 100%. In us?
Yeah. So, obviously, having stage early is good. I actually hold this card. If I have it on 1 and I'm playing against a deck or I have a situation where I have enough cost minusing in hand, I'll just play it out. But this card is good as a spell. You kind of want to think about it as a -2, like a Great Eruption of sorts. On the turn it's played, and then obviously it makes all your other math easier. But this set is a little weird because if you play against Rayleigh, you don't need any cost minusing other than your leader effect, and like maybe it's very irrelevant. Against like Zoro, stuff like that. If they play Tashigi, obviously, like a 6-don play that I would do against that deck a lot. If they play the Tashigi, I would just go Hina Brook it. Strong play. It's not the best, but it gets you there. Or even just going like Hina Houndblaze, just making sure their board is clear, and you're keeping the pressure up. Because once you stop putting the foot on the gas pedal, then that's when the game starts to spiral out. It becomes like far harder to survive. You'll have to dedicate all your resources and stuff to it. But if you're putting them on the back foot, I think you actually have like a pretty solid chance. But other math, like, let me think of like a common play. I guess like we'll see like Mihawk into Cavendish a lot, right? So, you know, if you have a Kuzan, your life is great. You know, nice and easy. Just make that a 1, and then Hina, Tempest Kick, Sword. You just outed an 8 and a 5 for Dawn. You know, and then you have 4 other Dawn to swing with. Keep putting the pressure on, but Hina's just the best. This set feels really easy with removal. There's not that many 10-drop decks. So 8's a not really a hard number at all, because like Hina stage leader effect is 6 right 6, there. Yep. So yeah, it's not like, you know, Enel in the past, or I'm sorry, Katakuri or Enel in the past, where, you know, you had to be able to drop 10 drop like every turn. So the onus is like the requirements for removing stuff is not as bad, and that's why I think this is pretty good low to the ground right now, is because you remove everything for so cheap, and then, you know, 2 Dawn 5 5. Like you're just swinging.
No,
But
it
yeah,
makes sense.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, super appreciate it. Huge shout out Southside Gaming. Absolutely. If you're in Florida and like the Orlando-ish area, definitely check them out.
So we're basically by Fort Lauderdale, like 30 minutes from Miami.
That's
I was actually going to announce that we are having a PRB2 double case tournament.
Oh.
It's gonna be, yeah.
When is that? When is that?
It's literally the Saturday after release. So they haven't announced exactly the release date.
Okay.
I think it's either
Yeah.
October 3rd or probably the week after.
Okay.
But whenever that release date's announced, we'll make a big stuff and have the graphic and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
you guys do it. They
I
do
would
good
love
work.
to see a bunch of people here. Yeah, the tournaments are a lot of fun. We get 80 people, like on just OP12 case tournament. We've gotten 100 plus for older tournaments, and PRB cases are like $3,000 right now. So
yeah,
I'm definitely playing in that event.
You're gonna win it. You're gonna win it. You got it.
I'll do my best.
Awesome. Well, super appreciate it. Go check them out. I'll include do you have any other links? You just want your Twitter? Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, I'll post my Twitter. I'll probably send you I'll put the Southside YouTube channel.
I can do that.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I post some content on there sometimes. We did like a OP12 case opening. I pulled a pretty cool card. Yeah, well, pretty cool card. I wish it was for myself, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, huge shout out to you, Vamp. It's always cool to see you at these events. You're a grinder. Your content's great, man. Like I just was driving back from Charlotte I went up there for Collecticon. I was watching your Emu video. I was watching the Ace video, and I'm like,
my man, what a guy! It's such high praise from such a good player. Because I put in the work, and some people, yeah. So I do my best to give the best, but no, so I couldn't do it without all the people like you, man. Like for sure, like it's the community that makes it possible. People like you jumping on the vid. I send messages. I'm like, yo, you want to do this? Or like, even at like the regional, be like, yo, you want to do a video with me? Like, but no, dude.
It's how you do it, and it's showing, it's paying off.
I appreciate
Shout out to you. Obviously, hopefully we get to make more of these videos in the future. I'll keep trying to win with Saka and maybe try some stuff. I've been in the lab with Blue Yellow Nami, so maybe
that deck's kind of with Odin. The fact we never got Odin is the only reason that deck didn't exist. But deck with Odin literally makes me hate my life. Banana. I can't lie. Like it's so gross because you can't answer them.
I know, it's so crazy, and then it's like their board is like Hiyori, Zeus, Hiyori, and then they're like the Odin's like you're basically drawing an extra card every turn. I'll add a ticket to my hand. I'll add a ticket to my hand. I'll add a ticket to my hand.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. I'm like, Then they're like, I'll be a 7K leader with like 9 cards in my hand. Yeah. You're like, oh, that's great. I'll lose.
It's like, dang, I can't draw off my effect. I have 9.
Yeah. Oh no. First world problems. Well, appreciate you, my friend. It's always a pleasure,
Absolutely,
man.
man.